getting this petals of the flower out a little bit, and I'm doing that. So I've already stitched them down, just a back stitch all the way around, and I'm letting them fray around the edges. So to pad them out, just a bit like trapunto style, so taking a double piece of wool, go in at the bottom. We're sliding the needle between the two fabrics, between the backing fabric and the piece over the top. So just pull it through till it's just through. Don't pull it right through, and snip it off. Line up your next stitch right next to it. Go in. And out. Check. Good, it hasn't gone through this time. And pull through. Being careful not to pull it right through. I've ended up stitching lots and lots of this project off camera because honestly it would just go forever if I filmed it all for you. So I hope you don't mind. So just keep laying the stitches right beside one another. And snipping off. Now I'm probably going to frame my piece, so I have no care in the world what the back looks like. Doesn't bother me in the least that there are little bits of fluffy wool sticking out here. Let's check out how that's looking. This is the piece, yep. Good, maybe just one more along the edge here. Snip. And so it just gives a little bit of dimension compared to it sitting flat like the one next to it. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that. Stitching. I've had the most glorious day just interspersing my house chores with doing things that bring me huge joy. So last time we stitched the little wren, and this time I've used upholstery fabric for the leaf, and then just used a thread in fly stitch over the top. This flower I stitched over with 13mm ribbon, and it's just simple ribbon stitch it's called, isn't it? Just the normal sort of stitch that you do. So I stitched all the outer petals first, and then I stitched this one in the center, and then this one and this one over the top, and inside I've just put in some gold thread and beads. And this is a piece of tapestry wool, stem stitch for the stem, and a series of fly stitches for that leaf. I've put some hessian here because we have to use textured background, which I'm, not great at actually. But I'm pushing my boundaries. I'm trying to do these things. And I'm actually thinking I might put the other triangle of it here and make it like a bunting. I have got a little crocheted piece and some buttons to go on there. These are just fussy cut leaves, simply stem stitched down the center, so that they keep their lift and movement. This is simply a piece of organza ribbon that I put over the existing printed leaf, and then I used thin wool in backstitch all over the lines, and then came back and used the scissors to cut the organza away right near the stitching. Really love the texture of this one. I love how that feels and the shine of it. Beautiful. So my ideas are to sort of keep going with this flower, obviously. I'm thinking of replacing these with jonquils, which I'll probably try and do in ribbon. And then I've also got my little crocheted flowers that I made to go on as well, which might sort of come along, on these spots. And I'm contemplating the thought of shortening, because this is already taking so very long, to have it sort of a square piece like this. So having lots and lots of fun. Checking the checklist. We need an animal, tick. Words, tick. Painting threads, tick. Textured background. I haven't done much of that. Maybe I might try and do a bit more, but look, tick, okay. Extra flowers. Well, I guess my ribbon flowers and the jonquils will count for that. Lace bits. Struggling with the lace bits, honest, to sort of integrate them and make them work. I've only got straight strips of lace, and yeah, it's not happening for me yet, but I'll keep trying. And beads and sequins. Well, yes, beads, and there'll be some more beads. So I'm loving how this is going, and it really was such a relaxing day just to sit and stitch and get so much of it done. And I've made a mess on my table once again with all the glorious things pulled out all over the table. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll be back with some more progress. Look at this. This is a succulent garden. And it's going to be a mass of flowers. It's gone crazy. Oh, look at that little bee. Hello, little bee. This succulent would be amazing to grow it all down a wall. Look at that. It's growing right over the edge. Love the shape of these ones. love the colour of these. And while we're here, let's have a look in the veggie patch. Got lots of lovely rocket, kale, beetroot. This is volunteers. I didn't plant this. So I'm thinking, is that broccoli? Maybe? Different type of kale, celery, snow peas, poor snow peas, the bottom half. That's from the 3 days in a row where we had over 35 degrees. Never mind. That's a broccoli I let go to seed. Spring onions. Lemon balm. Smells amazing. Parsley. Silver beet. Something's been enjoying the silver beet. Hopefully they leave some for me. Little mini capsicums. Got some more capsicums on the way here. Cos lettuce. Tomatoes. They're not ripening. Hopefully they ripen. Sage, which grew itself here, which I'm really happy about. I used to have the most beautiful corner of sage here where the parsley is, and it got scale, but luckily it's grown up here. More snow peas. These ones must be a bit more shaded from having the capsicum and tomato in front, so they didn't suffer as badly in the heat. And you sort of picked up the capsicums nearly at my head height. This is just 2 tiny little garden beds, and I just cram whatever I can in. And if it works, it works. A bit like my sewing. Lots of blueberries on the way here. This is a lemonade tree. It's meant to be sweeter. I still find it very bitter, very sour. But my husband loves them. He eats them like a fruit. So this is the origami rose in bud form. Chive flowers, aren't they lovely? I think these are called Linaria. They're just lovely. Buds on my blue moon rose. Excited for that. I love this rose. The fragrance is beautiful, and I love the colour, which is actually mauve when it opens. A sea of lavender, keeping the bees very happy. And the lovely iceberg. Well, I suspect we've got a praying mantis somewhere. Look at the size of the hole out of that leaf. I love the iceberg. Beautiful. Now this one, even though the flower's pretty enough, what we need to invent, please YouTube, is smell-o-vision, because this is a rose scented geranium. And this little one, this is a miniature rose. Look, that's my finger. Isn't that the cutest? It's a good afternoon from me. I'm sitting in the afternoon for once and doing some stitching, and back on the spring project. I'm not exactly sure where I got up to showing you last time, so I'll just jump in from where I am. So the thing I've just done is stitch down this sort of plain fabric. I don't know what it is. I bought it at a second-hand store for 50 cents. It's very floaty. It's floaty like silk, but it's not silk, is it? Look at that. That's too man-made looking, I think. If you know what it is, please leave me a comment. This sort of pretend fabric that looks like silk. Anyway, I just needed to give the background a bit of a calm down because there was lots and lots of flowers here, and I do sort of want to put in the jonquils that I talked about in my poem. I've had a look at a few embroidered jonquils. Well, actually, they were pretty hard to come by. It's mostly daffodils that you can find. Like there's these lovely daffodils in this A to Z of ribbon embroidery. But, oh goodness, that's very blurry there, isn't it? Is it better now? Oh, good. Okay, I thought maybe there was something wrong with the lens. My jonquils, though, aren't like that. You know, they're the very frilly ones. And so I just decided to play and see what I get, and let's see how I go together. So this was, again, just a scrap of ribbon that I got in a bag of ribbons from a secondhand store. It's not natural fibre, it's quite sort of papery. Can you hear that? Sort of strikes me as like those ribbons you get around bunches of flowers at the florist. But it was the only ribbon I had that was sort of the right colour and the right width, I hoped. So all I've done is a running stitch, gathered it up and tied it down. And what I'm thinking of doing is sort of a circle of French knots here and here in the hope of making this look like a little jonquil cluster. And the only way I'll find out if it works is by doing it. So it's a bit variegated. I'd probably rather not have variegated. Am I too close? Should I zoom out a little? Oh, the camera's not working at all. Not letting me zoom. I'll stop and... I'm back. I worked out the issue. I had it on cinematic mode. I was making a movie, a cinema quality movie for you. I'm not sure if that footage worked, but I said so much. I'm just going to carry on from here. Now the yellow that's in the centre of my jonquils is sort of a creamy yellow. It's not this buttercup yellow like you find on daffodils. So I don't think they're going to work for me either, those ones I've just pulled out. Maybe I should just go with the variegated because it tends to be a bit more subtle. Let's make decisions and carry on. Oh, you know what? I already pulled them out ready. They're over here. That's what I was looking for. More buttery tones. Is there going to be enough contrast? Let's try it and see. So how are you all going? What are you stitching at the moment? I haven't had much time this week to stitch or watch stitching, and I really felt the need to get into this. I've clipped this off. Well, there it is, the ends there. Maybe that's too pale. Maybe I can judge that already. Yeah. Too pale. We're not going to see enough. Artistic license, right? Let's just go with it, even if it's not accurate. Yes, I just sent my husband a text message and said, could you please just buy us all dinner on your way home, and then I can just have a little relax and sit and sew. It's important, isn't it? To take time, to make time for the things that sustain us. I need this more than I need food at the moment. Okay, away we go. Oops, I've been naughty. I've cut that way too long. Anyway, a little cluster of some French knots to hopefully replicate that cup effect. Or should I do just ribbon stitch? Well, let's experiment and do both and see what happens. So what I do on this one is ribbon stitch. That's what the beauty of slow stitching is to me. It's not like, you know, a pre-planned, have to get it perfect masterpiece. It's not a certain outcome I have in mind. It's just, let's try this and see. It's fun. It's like being a child again, just playing. Goodness, what's that little birdie? Oh. It's gearing up here like we're going to have a storm. Sky's getting a bit dark, wind's coming through. But it did that last week as well about this time in the afternoon and nothing eventuated. Gosh, this ribbon's pretty. I'm really so happy that I did buy myself a couple of, you know, variegated bundles from Silk Studio on Etsy, because it just means I have this jar of things that I can just dip into and play with, and beautiful. So I have a lot of plains in there as well. They're ones that I pick up every time I see them in secondhand stores. The scale of this isn't quite right, isn't it? The centre's a bit big and the frill of the flowers sort of all, or maybe if that's like that, pop it back up again. Ooh. Okay, what have we got there? What do we think? I don't know if I'm reading it as a jonquil straight away, to be honest. Carry on. Maybe once it's got its little stems, and there's a couple of them on thick green stems. Having trouble getting back in the centre. Oh, the knot's there, that's why. So I think I might just do the same in the other centre here, but make them a little shorter. The ribbon is really behaving very nicely here. Look at that. I mean, that's like I've tied a knot. This one here. Where do you watch YouTube? I tend to watch a lot of it on my phone. And so I've learnt, of course, that you can, as you're watching, zoom that part of the screen bigger, so when I want to see the detail. I think a lot of people can broadcast it to their TV or watch it on their TV these days too, don't you? Yeah, so for me, we don't have a TV, don't use one, so it's either my phone or my laptop. We do have a television in the house. It's just that for more than half of my life, I reckon I've never been interested in what's on television to watch. So I stopped a long time ago. And then at one stage we disconnected the TV to move it into a different room to allow visiting kids to play some video games and things on it. And my husband didn't miss it from where he sits, so we just didn't put it back. The thing is, we all have varied interests in our home, and so, you know, we like to each spend that little bit of leisure time we have watching something that really engages us. And if we want to watch something together, like a sporting match or a movie or something like that, then we'll do it through the computer onto a projector. So project it onto the wall and watch it together that way. Okay, well, I'm calling those jonquils, all right? And because I've told you now, you all know what they are too. All right, I'm going to make some more of these. Oops. I've done that thing again where I've got all the bits out all over the table everywhere. It's fun, isn't it? You know, if you're building Lego and making a whole city or something, you can't just sit with a couple of bricks. You've got to spread them out all over the floor everywhere, so you can see what you have and be inspired what to use. That's surely the same with creating. I'm funny though, because it does annoy me after a while. There's only so long I can stand to see everything out. Because when I'm in the moment creating, it's okay, I don't mind it around me. But the minute I've stopped creating and I'm just walking past, I can't bear to see the mess. So then I clean it up. Okay, so let's do this again. So I was even lazy and just used the thread that was in the needle, which is green. I figured the back of the flower would have green in it somewhere, right? And in fact, when I did the running stitch, I didn't do it on the edge. I've done it down the centre of the ribbon, which is what's given me sort of two parts. So let's do that again. So it's just simply running stitch. It's very slippery, this ribbon. Couldn't even tell you how far I went. I just sort of did it. I thought that looks enough. Let's try that. Oops, I'm losing some, so it's time to pull them through. Yeah, so obviously that at the moment is not enough, so I'm going to keep going. Yes, I had to stop showing you everything on this project because soon spring will be over and I have to be on the summer project, so I had to start taking some shortcuts with videoing. Bit more. Yeah, about that much. Let's do that. So I'm simply going to cut the ribbon off there. And go back in where I started to join this as a round. And just start adjusting. So I'm not pulling it tight, right? We need a little bit of movement in there to create a few different petals and whatnot. Maybe like that. So I'm just going to tie a knot there now. And spread it around. Maybe here. So in terms of pretending this is a little cluster of flowers, that could maybe, it's larger, right? It could maybe be 3. I'm going to tuck those corners underneath. And while the ribbon's still attached, take a couple of stitches to anchor it down. So again, when I'm anchoring down, I'm just trying to go through the center where my stitches already are. So the center of the ribbon. Right, one there. Maybe one more here. Good-o. Take a little knot. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the ribbons here. Often when I'm stitching, trying to replicate a flower, I'll have the photo of the flower with me, but my computer's flat, and of course I'm using my phone to film, so I don't have actual flowers to look at. When I started this project, I had the real thing growing in the garden and cut in a vase on my table. Lovely. I should have made these back then when I had the real things around me. Okay, so I'm going to make this one not a full round, so as if the cup's sort of facing that way, you know, and so it's not the full roundness of the cup, it's just the sort of side edges of it, because that's what you get, isn't it, with them? They face every which way. One more to complete the edge of the cup, I think. Oh no, better be 2 more. It's quite full anyway, isn't it? Anyway, there you go. This little jonquil peeking out there in the cluster. So you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and do some more of these, and I'll come back when I'm stitching something different. Well, I could not be more pleased. I just pulled up some video that I took of the jonquils, and I think these work. What I've done, all those hours of staring at flowers, has paid off. Obviously it's stuck in my mind what they look like. I'm just going to do a simple long stitch here with the ribbon to make our stalks. Into about here. Oops, came off the, don't want the twists in it, so I'm going to smooth that out. Take the twist through to the back. That's flat on the front. Jolly good. I'll thread it up again. I was trying to be economical and put it through right at the edge, but of course it just pulled through, so that's not going to work. Okay, now I'm just going to come up beside this. Try and flatten that out as much as possible. I'm doing a buckling, so I'm going to pull it a little tighter. A bit tighter still. It's misbehaving a little, isn't it? Come on. How's that? That's sitting better, isn't it? Okay. Try and flatten that out again. Another needle to turn this and flatten it. Is it flat now? That's right. Flatten it up here. Okay, now I am going to end it here because I do not want to waste ribbon by taking it all the way to the next flower on the back. I'm just going to take a little stitch through the fabric. Actually, no, that's too tight. Take it up through that stitch. Now, most of mine in the vase are just like at the front view, and you can see the the yellow inside the centres. This one, I sort of want to imagine like it's nodding down, you know, because some of them are coy, right? So I'm going to do a little stitch here that will be twisted, which is skinnier, and then its leaf coming down. I don't like that triangle sticking out, that ruins the effect, doesn't it? Of trying to pretend it's like a real flower. And so the little bit that their head's attached to is skinnier. So I do want that to twist and make a skinnier shape. Maybe to there. Maybe just there. Take one twist out. Okay, so I'm going to go just here. We do want it to keep its twist so it ends up skinnier. And then from this point, it's going to get thicker and be the whole thing coming down to the ground from whence it's growing. Didn't plan that very well, did I? Maybe over there, that might look better. Yeah, you can go in there. No twist for the stems, because they're nice and solid. Righto. Okay, and then let's just give it a bit of balance. Look at it. We want to maybe a stem out here or something, you know, sometimes there's some parts that come away a little. Just a leaf, haven't got any flower yet. And once again, no twist, please. Okay, good. Maybe one more out here. A bit higher, maybe. So a note to editing, Leanne, if you can, put the video footage of the real jonquils in somewhere in this video. Okay, nice. Now I do have that little gap thing happening there. Do I want to put another leaf there? Yeah, I think that's nice to do another little one. shorter one. Cute. At last, I'm so relieved. My piece about jonquils has got some jonquils. Now there's this tiniest amount of green left, and there's no point cutting that off because it's too small to use for anything else. I'm wondering what it would look like if we just had a random stitch here and there, because it's not even big enough to do knots. So just sort of, you know, add something. Oh gosh, I might only be able to get one more out. Okay, I can't get that back in because this needle's too big. Gosh, the light in here is bad. Is it enough to get off now? No, get off my needle. Okay. So just taking the needle through until we can reach the eye. Pull it through. And there we are. We've used that last little bit. It's not gone to waste. Oh, well, I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty happy with that. At last we have our syrup-scented breeze with our jonquils koi in dappled sun. Fresh first breath of spring. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. What are you doing outside there? It's coldy.
Or do I?
It's coldy.